About brain. The brain is the central organ of the nervous system and one of the most complex structures in the human body. It is responsible for controlling and coordinating all the functions of the body, including movement, sensation, thought, and emotion. The brain is located in the skull and is protected by a series of membranes called meninges, as well as by cerebrospinal fluid, which cushions the brain from physical impact. The brain is divided into different regions, each of which has a specific function. The cerebral cortex is the outer layer of the brain and is responsible for conscious thought, perception, and action. The cerebellum is located at the back of the brain and is responsible for coordinating movement and balance. The brainstem is located at the base of the brain and is responsible for regulating basic functions such as breathing, heart rate, and blood pressure. The brain is made up of billions of specialized cells called neurons, which communicate with each other through electrical and chemical signals. These signals are transmitted through synapses, which are the connections between neurons. The brain also contains glial cells, which support and protect the neurons. The study of the brain is known as neuroscience, and it is a rapidly growing field of research. Scientists are constantly discovering new things about the brain and how it functions, and this knowledge has important implications for understanding and treating neurological and psychiatric disorders. Types of brain. There are different ways to categorize the types of brain, depending on the context and perspective of the discussion. Here are a few examples. Based on evolutionary development. Reptilian brain. The most primitive and ancient part of the brain, which controls basic survival instincts such as breathing, heart rate, and fight-or-flight responses. Limbic brain. The midbrain, which is responsible for emotions, motivation, and memory. Neocortex. The outermost layer of the brain in mammals, which is responsible for higher cognitive functions such as perception, language, and decision-making. Based on the anatomy and function of brain regions. Frontal lobe. Responsible for executive functions such as planning, reasoning, and decision-making. Parietal lobe. Involved in processing sensory information such as touch, pressure, and temperature. Temporal lobe. Responsible for hearing, language comprehension, and memory. Occipital lobe. Processes visual information and perception. Cerebellum. Coordinates movement and balance. Brainstem. Regulates basic functions such as breathing, heart rate, and blood pressure. Based on brain disorders or conditions. Normal brain. A healthy brain without any neurological or psychiatric disorders. Diseased brain. A brain affected by various conditions such as Alzheimer's disease, Parkinson's disease, stroke, traumatic brain injury, or mental illnesses such as depression, anxiety, or schizophrenia. It's important to note that these categories are not mutually exclusive, and different aspects of brain function and structure can be considered simultaneously.